Hello everyone, Elytro Storm here, and today we are continuing the long-awaited story of if Bardock was sent to the future rather than the past, like in the episode of Bardock special. So, in part 0.5, we had him appear on Kame House right before Raditz arrived, having been guided to his two sons by fate. He had a power level of 20,000 after healing from Frieza's attacks, shocking Vegeta and Nappa through Raditz's scouter. The two had told Raditz to stay on Earth, as since he can't convince Bardock or Goku to come with them, they'll just kill them since they're all dead weight. Bardock took charge, and everyone has just finished their training. I've actually decided not to have Gine return to life, due to how the Dragon Balls work, so she still remains dead. Power levels on screen, but before we begin, be sure to join my Discord and follow me on Twitter. And check the community tab as I finally hit 1,000 subscribers, thanks to you guys. Oh yeah, and anyone who disagrees with any power levels in this video can join the Discord and debate me. But without further ado, let's get into this what if. So Vegeta and Nappa arrive on Earth, and Nappa is about to destroy a city, but he is punched in the face, stopping him. The Saiyan looks up, and sees none other than Raditz.
Well, he is a traitor. I guess I owe you one, Nappa.
Nappa then asks where his father and brother are, and says that he's sure the family would want to share a grave together. The two Saiyan elites laugh, but Raditz isn't smiling, and the two stop when he intervenes.
He's with the others, waiting for you to show up. I'm only here to give you a warning. Give up. As if. You think the prince will lose to some low-class warriors?
Raditz turns his back on them, and before flying, says one last thing.
We won't lose.
He then flies to a wasteland and joins the others. Vegeta and Nappa arrive to sense extremely low power levels on their scouters. The only one that stands out is Bardock's, which is a bit lower than Nappa's, who plants a Cyberman to test them, while Vegeta wants to handle Bardock by himself. Everyone flares up to their max powers, making the scouters go crazy. Vegeta reads Bardock's to see that it's 50,000, and is in shock. He screams that there is no chance of Saiyan warriors beyond his power. Bardock is not amused by his fellow Saiyans entitlement to the #1 spot.
When will you learn, Vegeta? Our ranks mean nothing. When Planet Vegeta was thriving, I was on the verge of surpassing the king, but was branded low class anyway. Me, a low class warrior, nearly surpassed your father. Open your eyes, goddammit!
The Saiyan yelled before hurling a blast at Vegeta, sending him flying back. Meanwhile, with all the other Z Fighters' power levels being pretty high, especially Goku, Raditz, and Piccolo's, who are on or over Nappa's level, they're beating him down pretty well while taking turns, and also helping out with the Cybermen. This leads to no death of Yamcha, and Nappa being beaten down pretty bad, though he can occasionally do some good damage. Vegeta stands up and immediately rushes at Bardock, who sidesteps the attack and elbows the prince in the back. Vegeta is clearly frustrated and flies into the air, charging a Gallic gun, barking for Nappa to join him. And when he does, Bardock chuckles and says that he might actually have to use his full power for this one, while charging a Kamehameha. He hadn't used his full power in a long time. But the blast isn't merely a Kamehameha wave, and is instead one fused with the Tyrant Lancer we see Bardock do in the games. So when this attack is charged, he only uses one hand to launch it at Vegeta and Nappa, kinda like a father-son Kamehameha in a way. Regardless, the blast overpowers the Gallic Gun Bomber DX combo single-handedly, literally. Goku thinks the fight was over, and notes that it was pretty underwhelming, but Bardock says if Vegeta is anything like his father, his will is insurmountable. Vegeta and Nappa both stand up as the dust fades, their armor torn and tattered. Vegeta is holding a ball of energy and yells that he'll just have to become a new Zaru. But in his anger, he doesn't see that Raditz and Bardock have their tails. Nappa yells out for Vegeta to wait, but the prince is having none of it, causing all the Saiyans to transform, minus Goku. The Uzarus square off, with Raditz taking on Nappa and Vegeta taking on Bardock. Now, here's some explanation on how they can control their powers. Raditz can't really control this form, so despite his slight power advantage on Nappa, he isn't doing that well, and is only barely holding his own against Nappa, as we've never really seen him control the form. As for Bardock, we know he has some level of versatility in this form, as in the Bardock special, he's able to use it without going nuts and attacking his comrades, who are just as big as him, so they would probably pose bigger threats to him if he was thinking like a deranged animal. So while Raditz has a basic usage of this form, and Vegeta and Nappa have perfect usage due to being elites and royal blood in Vegeta's case, Bardock is only halfway in control, enough to be able to take on Vegeta as equals despite the massive power difference. The Z Fighters are watching this intense squabble, knowing that they really can't do anything in this fight. Their powers are just way above them. But Raditz, in his clash with Nappa, they're both shooting mouth beams that are nearly destroying buildings far away from the wasteland that the Z Fighters have to manage to block, although they do end up quite damaged. They're realizing that this fight is not going their way on either side, and so Krillin tries to make a destructor disc to cut off Nappa's tail, so they can end it quickly. But Vegeta warns him, just like in the original, only this time they're Uzarus, allowing Nappa to jump over it. Raditz also sees this disc and is distracted by it. Nappa uses the distraction of Raditz to punch him into the ground to fall on the Z Fighters, but they all escape out from under him. Unfortunately though, one of them does not, the weakest of them, Chaozu. He isn't able to fly away fast enough due to his extremely low power level and is crushed by Raditz. This angers not only Ten Shinhan, but everyone else as well, as they were all friends with Chaozu to varying degrees. Ten Shinhan yells that every one of them besides maybe Bardock is a monster, and that they all need to be taken out. But the others argue despite being sad at the loss of their friend. This leads Nappa to get the advantage on Raditz, to which Bardock manages to grab Vegeta by the arm and slam him on top of Nappa. 4 Uzarus are rushing at each other, with Raditz not even being aware of who he is fighting anymore, and even blasting the Z Fighters. Once again, remember that Raditz has changed in this 1 year, but he just has no control of his Uzaru form now that he's so enraged. The battle starts to come to a close when the Z Fighters all team up to blast the fake moon after Yajirobe showed up, and they got him to cut off Vegeta's tail. This distraction led them to destroy the fake moon and thusly reverse everyone back to their normal states. Now, due to Bardock and Raditz being injured, the rest of the Z Fighters have to deal with Vegeta and Nappa, who are also injured. They manage to win and get the two on the ground. Ten Shinhan says that they should kill them due to them causing the death of Chaozu, a life they seemingly cannot get back. They've already wished him back once before. Most of the Z Fighters agree. Bardock powers up a blue blast he's ready to toss to finish them. Vegeta, knowing that he can't do much else, decides to fire one last blast that catches Piccolo off guard and kills him. But that's when Vegeta gives in, knowing he cannot win. This angers Bardock and especially everybody else, and that's when Vegeta finally gives in. He tells Bardock about Frieza and his reign and how he heard the comment about the Namekian and the Dragon Balls and all things like that, which would have come up in the conversation at some point. Bardock is not only angry at Nappa's killing of Piccolo in an off-guard, unfair way, but he's even more angry at Vegeta even mentioning Frieza, kinda like how Batman was angry at Superman when he mentioned the name Martha. Bardock demands for Vegeta to tell him more, and the two Saiyans spill it all, hoping to survive. With that, Goku tells them that they should probably head to the lookout so Popo can give them an idea on how they might go about bringing everybody back. They arrive on the lookout, carrying Vegeta and Nappa, and Bardock eating a senzu bean on the way, which doesn't give him a significant increase due to him only being a bit injured and not near death, so we'll say about a 20% increase, putting him up to 60,000. And Raditz gets one too, but it's more severe, so we'll give him the full third, putting him at 10,000. Popo tells the gang that Kami once lived on Namek, and how they might have Dragon Balls like on Earth, and he lends them Kami's ship, telling them that it is also quite damaged, so Bulma would have to fix it. While Bulma prepares to fix the ship, the human Z Fighters are all training together, and Vegeta and Nappa are both healed, bringing them to 24,000 and 8,000. Vegeta tells everyone about how strong the Ginyu Force is, and how Frieza should be massively stronger than them. This doesn't sit well with Bardock, but he does get an idea.
Hey Bulma, why don't you make a ship with the gravity of planet Vegeta? Is it possible?
Bulma tells him yes, and so she has her father work on that while she fixes up the Namekian ship, and if she has any extra time, she will also help with that. So there will be two squads, the Saiyan squad going in the gravity ship, so Bardock, Vegeta, Nappa, Raditz, and Goku, and the other squad, which is Ten Shinhan, Krillin, Yamcha, and Bulma. And luckily, the training the humans do before they leave is pretty substantial. This leaves Ten Shinhan with a power level of 3,500, Krillin just behind with 3,400, and Yamcha at 3,000. The crew then go to Namek, prepared to potentially end up taking on Frieza's men, and they find Dodoria fighting some Namekians. The gang decide that rushing in is a bad idea, as Dodoria would be too much for them, so instead they clutch onto their humanity and manage to save Dende. and escape with a double solar flare from Tenshinhan and Krillin. Their next goal is to find the Dragon Balls, so they all split up. Krillin eventually finds Guru's house, and they all get their potentials unlocked after finding everybody else. Power levels on screen as to what they are now. Dodoria and Zarbon sense these high levels and rush towards Guru's place. This leads Nail to take on both of them and beats them quite easily. The gang continues to find the Dragon Balls until they eventually have all of them, but that's when the Ginyu Force arrives. The Ginyu fight is changing kind of substantially in this case. There's no Vegeta, and Krillin, Yamcha, and Tenshinhan will have to take them on by themselves. So firstly, it's going to be Goldo, and using their teamwork, they will actually be able to overcome the paralysis and defeat him. Raccoon goes in afterward, and all three have to team up on him. This causes them to be beaten down quite substantially. Their potentials being unlocked, they're actually gaining on Raccoon very quickly. And so eventually they're actually able to overpower him with teamwork and using a Destructo Disc, a Tri-Beam, and a Spirit Ball. In unison, knocking him off guard with the Spirit Ball, hitting him with the Tri-Beam, and then finally slicing him in half with the Destructo Disc. This causes both Goldo and Raccoon to be killed, leaving Jace and Bardock to step in. Their power is above anyone else's, but everyone's energy is still rising. So in a 2-on-3, they aren't looking terrible, but they are definitely getting beat. But that's when luckily the Saiyans arrive. They are arriving a little bit later due to the ship needing more work to make more room for all 5 of them, but it did manage to work out. I'll leave everyone's power levels on screen, as well as my math for them, but know that one of these isn't the full power of the character. They arrive on the battlefield and immediately start whooping Jace and Bardock. Bardock tells them to leave the planet or he'll kill them, and thusly they leave, only to get Captain Ginyu later. Ginyu, sensing all these high power levels, loves them, and wanting to take Bardock's million all for himself. He doesn't manage to get his body, but instead gets Goku's, just like in the original, who rushed in to take the hit for his father. Ginyu's power level in Goku's body isn't even 40,000, so he's beaten easily, eventually getting Goku's body back, but injured. He leaves Vegeta to take Goku to a healing tank and let him heal up. With that, everyone who had their potentials unlocked are now at their max. Vegeta and Nappa proceed to take a nap on the ship, while Bardock and the others talk strategy. They're going to take the Dragon Balls and wish for Chaozu and Piccolo back, and then take on Frieza. And so they fly off and prepare to do so, with Nail actually going to distract Frieza. But the group diverges. While the humans, Bardock and Raditz, go to make the wish, Bardock is stopped by Vegeta.
You really think I would rest while you're around? You're a fool,
the prince says before telling Nappa to go along with the others and follow them. Bardock nods, agreeing that they should go, silently. Vegeta stares at Bardock, both of them lowering their feet to the ground. Bardock asks him what he's doing, and why he would halt their attack on Frieza for this. Vegeta tells him that he had been concealing his power, and he powers up to his maximum. 1 million. Just like Bardock's. Bardock is shocked, and asks how it's possible, so Vegeta reveals his secret. He tells him that he had actually done training before they left to get on the ship. He states that Kami is quite helpful. After all, he told him about the Room of Spirit and Time, and that's where he trained. It wasn't an insane increase, since it was just him training alone, but it was enough for him to set the odds in his favor, and since then, he's been concealing his power the whole time, to give them a false sense of security, like they could beat Vegeta if he really showed his true colors. But no, they cannot. He was going to make Bardock regret the day he humiliated him. The two evenly matched Saiyans look each other in the eye and prepare for battle. But that's where we're going to end part 1. Sorry it took so long to get this out, but I hope you all did enjoy it anyway. I know, I sure did. But as always, tell me what you thought of this part, tell me what you think will happen next, comment your requests for future videos, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.